We saw you also wanting to repress him in the last election. First of all, before we even go there, are you going to contest the election this time around?
Of course, yes.
Why? You never made an impact in the last election. Why would you go back there again?
Because I never made an impact last time, so maybe I'm going to make it now. That's all the more reason why I should go back.
But the same voters who didn't vote for you, are they still the same voters around?
Not exactly the same. There are others, but the point is that maybe I didn't have enough time to, to promote, to sell myself to the voters. Now maybe I've had enough time to sell myself to the voters. The point is, I'm going to stand again. And I'm very confident it's going to be much better than it was last time.
Why would you think it's going to be much better?
I have told you I have moved across this country. 3 times, by the way. And by across, I mean across. Okay, and I've listened to all sorts of people and seen. I've told you where the background of my National Economic Empowerment Dialogue comes from knowing exactly what the needs of Ugandans are. And knowing, if by the grace of God, if I had that seat, what exactly I would do to transform the lives of Ugandans and bring them away from depravity to some sort of prosperity in a matter of 3 years. All regions, I know exactly what I would do. I would go, I'll tell you what I did when I would go and spend like a week or 2 in one region and go and find out what people do and find out what they used to do. How they used to earn money and how everything has been tied in and what is the strength of that place and so on. And I understand all those things. So now, I come from a much better place of understanding. The previous election, I didn't think I was going to make an impact. I knew I wasn't. I came very late. I announced my candidature just a few months to the election. By that time, most people have decided whom they are going to vote for and so on. But I wanted to understand, first of all, the process, and then also to give myself time to understand the electorate.
We have seen, before that, we have seen, as of yesterday, there was more than 100 and something, 20 people who have expressed interest by going to pick nomination papers from the Electoral Commission. First of all, what do you make of that huge number? Because this is unprecedented.
It's not the first time. The last time there were so many. I think there were something like 70 at the beginning. They whittled down, I think, to around 8. That's what will happen now, because there are issues there. There are issues of signatures. There is issue of money, 20 million. That last time, I don't know what it is now.
It's 20 million.
20 million, and so on. So if somebody is just coming to have a spade in the headlines, they are not going to pay their 20 million. So that list will come down. The thing, though, is it's an incentive for somebody who you come, there are media people there, you pick forms, you announce how you're going to be president, you're in the media, and then you go home and, you're a celebrity in your local place.
But speaking about that, the money and the signatures, they are actually there. No one has come out to confirm that. But, in the circles, in the radio cutaways, there many people, go, the system itself chooses people. They give them the 20 million, and actually the pistols and what have you, the security system help them to get these signatures. And one of the people actually one time was also accused yourself. You are being used you're being used by the system,
Used by the system to say the things that I've said. Let me tell you, but there is nobody in opposition politics who speaks the things that I speak. Is not there as directly and as fearlessly as I do. Is not there. So if it was true that I was that, then they would be stupid to have somebody like me, because that's like paying your opponent to score in your goal. So but of course everybody, because that's how the system operates. Everybody has been associated with this and that and so on. But nobody in their right mind thinks that I need somebody to give me 20 million, or that I would struggle to get signatures from all across the country. Those are very simple things.
But it might not be you, but is that assertion?
No, they are there.
Possible?
No, it is there. There are people who are there. I know, for instance, there is somebody who was put there because they didn't want, in 2016, because his name starts with BA, and they didn't want Besigye to be the top
on
the ballot paper. So they got somebody, a certain professor, and put him on top because he's a BA. So basically, he was number 2, and then Museveni was the last. So there are all those dynamics of because most people again Museveni knows the real voters there. They will just tell them. That's why he insists on having a hat. They'll tell them vote the person here, which because some of those people you think they can identify somebody's face by maybe reading. Many of them cannot. There has to be some feature, distinguishing feature. That's why he insists on his hat, and that's why he insists on either being top or bottom. You said that in the previous election you didn't have a political party. Now you have a political party. But this political party the other day announced that it had just you from being there. No, it is just some disgruntled people whom I'd already chased, who called a press conference and said they had chased me. So they are disgruntled people. There is one gentleman who defected to DP, and he was pictured during DP elections. Having a DP card and electing. So I called him and told him he can no longer be the spokesperson of our party because clearly he was in another party. And he's the one who actually was at the press conference saying that they have suspended me, yet I suspended him before for clear misconduct. And so there are people like that. Then there's another one who I found has been working for Muhoozi to destabilize my party. He's now the Secretary General. And he somehow pushed himself there, but he has been working for PRU to disorganize my party, and all these things happen. You know what people have to realize, and very few people do, is that there is a section in ISO whose work is political espionage, who have a budget just to divide political parties. Okay? Now, every political party has a faction. You go and ask CP, Uluchamus. There is also a faction, okay? And now it's not even as, let's say, influential now as I am. So all the parties, tell me one that doesn't have factions. They are all there. How is that? You think it's coincidental? It is not. There is a budget for people in ISO, I even know the person who heads it, to come and disorganize political parties. So I wake up in the morning, Kabuleeta, I'm fighting to have a say in the politics of this country, only to discover all the people around you have been compromised.
So what does that say of you? What kind of leader are you that many of the people around you, Secretary General, your spokesperson, the face of the party, are all compromised? So what does it say of you as the person who identified them?
Nothing. It just says something of them, not of me. Because now, what am I supposed to do? I have to work with human beings. And some of them have financial challenges. And they promise them this and that, and the Secretary General was promised that when Muhoozi becomes president, he's going to have some sort of say in that whole arrangement. And how many people, you've not been in politics. Let me tell you, there are very few people in our politics who can resist such overtures. Very, very few. Because those people are good at promising. They never fulfill. Never. But they always promise.
Sell hope.
They sell hope. They never fulfill. It's not the first time it's happening to me. In the 2021 campaign, they put somebody else around me, a lawyer, who was there to frustrate me. He did a very good job, frustrated me. They promised him certain things, they did not give them. At the end of the day, he was also left a very bitter person. Now even this one who was promised is also going to leave a very bitter person. And now they will also come for somebody else, and people will never learn. These people don't have anything good for anybody. They are all wicked people. All of them, the lot of them. There is nothing good that will come out of this Museveni clique and what? Nothing. Okay? So, in our circle, so you just have to accept that. But then, they will always deceive people. Just like the devil will always deceive people. But he doesn't wish them well. Okay? He always wishes them bad. But you deceive them. So even here, people will be deceived. Now, they come and offer people money. They offer them positions. They offer them deals. And then the person looks at you. So he is either going to be held together with the principle, just on the basis of pure principle. How many Ugandans would survive that? Very few. So I started knowing very well that was going to happen. I knew it. I knew that they cannot let you organize. So you start a political party, organize your people, sit in the meetings. But I knew that it cannot happen like that.
What I'm taking away from you is that actually you are still the president of NIT.
I am. I am. There is no, like, the parties are governed by constitutions. They are not governed by press conferences. Okay. I can also sit up and where did you hear that Todwong and Dombo made the press conference and suspended Museveni? Like, that's absolute rubbish. It can't happen. Like, there is no party constitution that makes that possible. Okay, and that doesn't. But then, if they want to cause a hula barrow because somebody has sent them, and because there is something they are aspiring to get, they will call a press conference and they cause a hula barrow and then try to put you on the defensive and so on. But I've tried so much not to be on the defensive. I've kept on the offensive, and I'm just doing my things. But I expected that. I expected it, especially the people I've been dealing with. I know them. Okay, we've been moving for 3 years.
But you didn't do due diligence when you were choosing to work with them?
But you have to work with somebody. Okay? You have to work with somebody, even if sometimes you know this is not the right person. But somehow, when you're starting something, you have to use the people who are available. Even if you see them, shaky and so on. Because you can't work alone. I can't move alone. So if anybody comes and expresses interest, even if you really see that they are shaky and you don't trust them, you say, come and let's move along. As long as you know that you're not building all your trust, not putting your trust in them.
How does this now, because now we are almost to the processes of the next election have already started, and then I don't know whether you call it a storm or a small, whatever, I don't know what term you want to use it. How does that organize or disorganize your organization heading into 2026?
It doesn't. It doesn't. It's only a media farce. Some in the media, then somebody says then he's offered all these radio stations which want drama, okay, and radio stations and what, we never cease to move away from drama, but it's just a farce. Most of the people who want to stand on our party ticket call me and I tell them, no, forget about that. This is what is happening, and their hearts are settled. People will call and find out, and when they realize that that's just a media farce, they go on, because that happens all the time. So it has been minimal. Okay, I can't say it hasn't affected me entirely, but it has been very minimal.
Okay, and other parties, we are seeing their processes through which to get candidates, presidential candidates. You are saying you are going to stand. You are almost certain of that. But the processes of your own party have not happened. How are you going to become the presidential candidate?
No, that
we have not seen any processes.
No, that was already done. That was already
where
done.
From where?
It was done in May.
Where? We didn't see.
Hey, we had the national.
But you did that before. You said the party became a party in June. So how did they choose you as the presidential flag bearer before the party was even registered?
No. There was a party which was registered in 2005. Remember, I told you we acquired the party.
You bought a party.
We acquired the party, and all that we were waiting for is changing of the name, and the logo and the slogan. But the party was already there.
What was the name of the party?
People's United Movement.
So did you buy it? Where are the former leaders of that party?
I acquired it.
How?
I acquired it. What's your problem?
Can you take us through the process? Because this is a public entity you are talking about. How do you owe us.
No, I joined the party. I joined the party, and they voted me as its chairman and president.
When was that? We didn't see.
You wanted me to come and knock on your door? Because
every time. Joseph, you were a media person. How do you do such a grand thing? You are changing a party, you are acquiring the president, and no one knows apart from yourself.
There are so many things I don't do in the media. Okay, there are so many things I don't feel the need to do in the media, but it was done, and the processes are there, and fully registered there at the Electoral Commission. So that's all that matters.
I know.
So whether Batte got to know in his kafunda somewhere or what,
I know.
Is immaterial.
I know parties that have been sold in this in this window, the window of the 2026, and the other people who are there vending them say, Kabuleeta, how much are you buying? How much are you buying? So, and if you're really looking at having a better Uganda, a Uganda that is free of, that is transparent, leadership that is transparent, don't you think that you owe us an explanation?
No, I don't owe anybody an explanation. The thing is this: if Electoral Commission was making it easy for people to register parties, like it is in Kenya, there would be no need for anybody to go and go through the process that we went through. Okay? We would go and register a political party on our own. But Electoral Commission, because they are serving the interests of the dictator, will make it very difficult for somebody to go and start a political party. So now, that's why you find people saying, rather than going through the process, and then they make you feel this, do that, do that, the other, and then they are playing you for time as the elections come across. Many people, but I did this in 2022, by the way. So I haven't just been, heading this.
We have had others who have gone through the hard time.
Yes, I know. PFF did. PFF did, but the PFF started was like almost a breakaway from FDC. So they were not entirely something new. Ant did it. Now Ant was something new. But also, even if you listen to Mugisha Muntu, he says the things they went through to acquire a party, and that's Mugisha Muntu, you see. But also he says the processes they take you through to acquire a party. So it shouldn't be that difficult. It should be as easy as registering a company. But Electoral Commission make it very difficult because there is a reason they are doing that.
And as we near finishing, a few more questions. Apart from the president, but there are other party flag bearers. How are you getting those?
No, we have them. We had identified them before. We actually had identified our flag bearers before.
Yeah, across.
Yes.
How many do you have?
I will not tell you, but we had identified them before.
But we are going to contest in this election. It is not a private matter. It is a public matter.
No, what they are going to contest is what we are going to give them a card. They are already in the process of canvassing election. So it's a question of they are going to come under our card. So now the thing is, we are not supposed to announce, because even the process for NRM has just ended, and they are using taxpayer money. Okay, so the point is that we are not late. Even if the nominations are 2 weeks from now, people can come and get a card and they stand on our thing. So, and the nominations are not 2 weeks from now; they are a lot more long. a lot further than that. So, we have been doing our things behind the scenes, but
we have candidates. There is a saying in opposition circles that. Actually, it has happened that in this election there is always one candidate and one other opposing him. The others are just really escorting the other. So, and there is a thinking that maybe all people should come around one person and then push. What do you say of that?
And then do what?
Perhaps we might defeat Museveni.
What was the percentage that was given to Museveni in the last election?
58?
Yes. So, and if all other candidates combined, what would be the best they could come up with?
Maybe.
No, I'm just simple.
Yes, that is about 43, 42.
So would that stop Museveni from being president? So the issue is that how do we get, even with all the cheating and all the rubbish, how do we get Museveni to come below 50? Because people make it look like coming together is urgent. It is not. There will be a time for that.
So
but as long as one card,
what is urgent?
Canvassing for votes and getting, because you look at, for instance, I'll give you an example of Kenya. When did those alliances, at the end of by the time the election came in 2022, there were two alliances, Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. When did those people come together and we are putting all those parties together? Each one went and canvassed in their own place, and then there was a clear message that there are two strong candidates. So each one went and coalesced around whoever they wanted. Okay? Now, they don't start, you've just started a party, come and, we have an alliance. Alliance, what am I bringing to the table? I have to first go and bring something and say that now if I come and join your alliance, this is what I'm bringing. Now, before I've even built what I'm bringing, you come and say, come and I don't have a problem with alliances. But I have to know for sure what am I bringing. If I'm bringing nothing, then why am I in the alliance? Okay? What is the point in having me in the alliance? So that is the mindset. So now people rush into alliances. And then eventually, that's why you see, remember the TDA thing?
Yes.
Everybody thinks they are the boss. About things, you see, now they can't even agree on one candidate. Now, contrast that, for instance, with Kenyans. Okay? Those who joined, Kenya Kwanza of Ruto, there was no argument of who is the leader, because one person was clearly ahead. Okay? Others were just adding on to that. No, you have to create a scenario where there is a clear leader. And then you say, I will add here, I will add here, I will add there. Otherwise, you go to quarrel.
Do you think in Ugandan politics, isn't there a clear leader in the opposition?
No, we have to wait until that time, and then we decide who the clear leader is. If he's there, that's no problem.
And generally, the last two questions. What do you make of, because there is a lot of troop movement within the opposition. People are going against each other's throats. So yet, it's just a few months to the next election. So what is your thinking? What is your reading on the people, all the people against Museveni?
No, I can't say all the people against Museveni, but what I know is people have different objectives. And people do things based on what their objectives are. I'll give you an example, let's say from football. There are those who come saying, we just want to survive relegation. There are those who come to say, we want top 10. There are those who come to say, we want top 4 to qualify for the Champions League. There are those who say, if we are not champions, we have lost. Okay? Now, all those people are in their minds in accordance to what their objectives are. Okay? Now, if your objective is to get MPs, get iPod money, and so on, there's a way you do things, you know, what you call it, troop movement, and so on. And the MPs, the MPs will always look for where they have an advantage. What does this party offer me? I have my own, efforts that I've put in. But if I join this party, will it give me a slight push across the line? So, and those ones, that's to be expected. So, you go to a party which you feel is going to give you a slight push across the line and so on. So, those troop movements are expected. However, I, as lead, I have my objectives, which are totally different. And I will do things according to what my objectives are. Okay? And not according to what everybody in the opposition. Because Ugandans have a tendency of thinking that there is a political party called opposition. It's not there. Okay? Opposition is just a loose term for people who are outside of NRM. But we are all different people, and we all have different aspirations, different objectives, and even different, manifestos and so on.
When people come to you and told you, confessed to you that, you see, you are a stumbling block to the opposition because they believe there is the opposition, not the real opposition, that the one who stands more chance of defeating Museveni than yourself. Now,
that was my point, which you asked earlier. How am I a stumbling block to that? Okay? How am I a stumbling? Because, as I told you in the previous election, the man was given, and I'm saying given, I'm not saying he got. I'm saying he was given by Byabakama 58%. How would my being out of the election change that? Okay? The votes I was given, which was less than 1%, how would that impact on anybody if I gave them the less than 1% that I got? How can I be a stumbling block? You see, now that's where the challenge is, because people are not counting. They are not looking at the real, politics that is on the ground. They just think that the reason opposition is not winning because they are divided. But if united, if the man is getting 58%, he's being given 58%. Your union can only give you 42% at best. So what are you going to do? He would still be sworn in as the leader.
There are these new tariffs. Even the United States the other day is trying to impose on countries like ours. Is there anything that the Ugandan should concern himself or herself about what America does?
Yes, of course, at a certain level, yes. I would say like 99% of Ugandans it wouldn't be that. But there are people who are doing business with America. And the reason there have been those high tariffs is because in reality, there's been very little negotiation. And I think that we have not done a good job negotiating with America, because they have a president who is a negotiator. And when you go and present something...
And actually you are supporter of Donald Trump.
Yes, I am. And he's a negotiator. And when you go and negotiate with him from a place of strength, you see, for him, he's doing what is best for his country. Okay? He's not trying to be everybody's sugar daddy. Now, if you go and negotiate with him from a basis of strength, and we have some things that we can negotiate with. For instance, they have a lot of interest in Congo, and Uganda has a lot of say in that. America has a lot of interest in South Sudan. Uganda has a say in that. There was the issue of Somalia. There is a lot of places we can negotiate. But our president is not a negotiator. If you go there and told Donald Trump that you have been using our army to do ABC, and therefore this is what we want in return. People have been making deals of that kind. And real making deals from a place of strength. You know, you have to understand he's a businessman. And everything he does comes from a place of, he wants to see how you're strong on behalf of your country. And he's strong on behalf of his country. So it's a sparring thing. And you tell them, if you do this, then, you know, this is going to be like this. And then eventually you come with some, but you know, even with the visa things, I'll give you an example. You saw what they did, they cut visas. 3 months. That's lack of negotiation. There was a time when Rwanda was getting 10 years because they negotiated. And we are getting 2 years because we did not negotiate. Because the people who are supposed to negotiate on behalf of Ugandans, for them they will get the big things. They don't care about the rest of the people. But all international, even like visa-free travel and all that, that comes from negotiation. Do you know what Rwanda did? They told them that if Americans want to come and see gorillas, we'll make it very easy for them. So if a Rwandan qualifies to get a visa to America, instead of giving them 2 years, give them 10 years. And America accepted. It's all negotiation. Okay, now they also reduced it for them under Trump. But my point is that nobody negotiates for that. Look at, for instance, South Africa. South Africa, there was a time when Kenya, if you 1 month stay in South Africa, you don't require a visa. No visa fees. Yet, at the same time, Ugandans in transit through any of the ports in South Africa had to pay transit fees. In transit, not even leaving the airport, just moving from one plane to the other. Had to pay what? Why? Because we don't negotiate. And yet, we have negotiating. Our banks, Stanbic, MTN, what, which, if you want to get money from us, don't charge us for visas. Yes. They would accept they need the money from here. There was a time even supermarkets and everything were from South Africa, but nobody is negotiating. They don't get any money from Kenya. We are now own. No, they don't get any money from Kenya. Here, they get all the money from our telecoms to banks to what, everything South Africa. But nobody negotiates. So when they say, you have to pay this amount of money for a visa, the other guys have red passports. They don't care. For them, they don't pay. But now, when you have proper leadership, like what you're going to get with me, there's no way you can take advantage of us like that. There is absolutely no way. So if you want to get the money that you're getting from this economy, you have to give us something in return.
The Uganda is like a child without a parent.
That's exactly true. There is absolutely no parent, or the parent is a drunkard. So he leaves the child at home, and for him he goes and, drinks and eats, muchomo, and the children at home are starving. That's exactly what is here. And the guy comes home, satisfied with the beer and nyama choma, and the children at home are starving. That's what's in Uganda, because nobody cares about the rest of the people. Nobody. Now, for instance, the other day there was a big issue. Some countries, they were saying, why do European countries especially charge visa fees, and then they have a 90% refusal to acquire visas? And these people are suing them, saying that you have a right to decide who goes to your country. Yes. However, you don't have a right to take money and say no. Yes. You say, but hey, you've qualified for a visa, now then pay.
Yes. Don't first take the money and then deny. And the Americans, they haven't actually increased even the visa fees.
No, but the Americans, now here, some of them, you don't even meet anybody. What they just say, send by DHL.
Yes, to South Africa.
So you said, you pay money for the company which they use here, to sustain the company which they use here, to collect that information. You pay money for the DHL to take your things there. You pay money for the visa which they haven't given you, even when there is a 90% refusal. You pay, basically it is just fleecing African countries, and they make European Union $150 million every year from fleecing African countries. Why? Because we are not negotiating. There is no way. If I'm leadership, I can let that happen. I cannot. I will tell them, you have a right to decide who comes to your country. You don't have a right to steal our people's money. Say you qualify for a visa, pay the visa fee. You don't qualify, don't pay. Okay, let's go through the process.
But you are trying to observe the Americans. They are doing the same thing.
They are doing the same thing. That's my point. All of them are doing the same. But the point, my point is that lack of negotiation. Now imagine some of these people. You want to go and do business abroad. You see, this is how they keep people in poverty. Then let's say you want to go to the UK. Then they are going to withhold your passport because you want a visa for 3 months. But you have to do business in 3 months. You have to travel to South Africa, to Kenya, to what? You're a businessman. And somebody is holding your passport for 3 months. You can't go anywhere as if you're going to heaven. Like, how is that even possible? That is lack of negotiation. If somebody negotiates, they would change. It's a total lack of negotiation. Those people get things from us here. They need us here. Okay? Even those British. They're the ones in Karamoja taking all the minerals and what. You tell them for that you have to give something in return. How do you keep somebody's passport for 3 months? In that time, it's almost like it has been captured by court. He's not supposed to travel. So there are certain things which is just, as you said, are no fun. The father goes, drinks beer and nyama choma and eats very well, and at home people are starving.
But is it about negotiation, or
it is about
as the people think, look, these guys looking down upon us?
It is about negotiation, because that doesn't mean that they are going to give visas to everybody. It means those who qualify. Okay? So now, the standards that they set for qualifying for a visa are theirs. It's up to them to decide. However, the conditions, having qualified, the conditions you give for somebody, now that's where the negotiation comes in. So now, okay, Kabuleeta qualifies to get a visa, let's say, to America. Okay? Why are you giving him 3 months? Okay? Yet he is going to do, let's say, whatever. Why not give him 5 years or 10 years? Now, he has qualified. Now, we are not negotiating about how I qualify. That's up to them. But having qualified, now, that's where the negotiation comes in. You think we don't have anything to offer them? We do. Even those things which you are saying, putting those whatever, we have things to offer them, but we are not using our leverage.
Do you know that actually you will find that many of our countries in Africa, many African countries, have visa-free or sometimes visa on entry to Americans, to holders of American passports and European Union passports. Yet, the same is not done for many, because most of the rejections are actually from Africa.
Yes, because we've messed up our countries. The reality is that you cannot put visa-free, whatever. Even countries which are supposed to have, like let's say, COMESA countries.
But why do we allow them to come here visa-free?
Because the presumption is that they are coming here and they are not going to stay here or things like that. Now, if you put, of course, you can't put visa-free. I mean, we have to first. We cannot run away from the fact that we have to sort our countries. We have to sort our country. We have to get to a point where nobody feels they have to run away from this country. Okay? Because they are running to Middle East, to where, because the system here is broken. Now we have to make this, and we have what it takes from a resource point of view and everything to make this country admirable, to the point that somebody feels it's a punishment for him to leave this country.
Are you still in support of Donald Trump with all what he's done, all the mess he's caused around the world?
Let me tell you, Donald Trump is doing what he's doing for America. He's not the president of the world.
But let me tell you this. The Americans want to impose themselves as though they are the presidents of the world.
No, let me tell you this. That's where I wouldn't agree with him. But if he's doing what he thinks is good for America, how am I supposed to what? To argue with that? When I become president, I will do what is good for Uganda. In the same way, if you are coming here and you're not bringing any expertise or what, you can't just walk into the country. That's not good for our country. How much capital are you bringing? Let's say if I became president and I say now you can no longer repatriate 100% of your profits out of the country, I'll be doing what's good for Uganda. But other people will be complaining, but that's good for Uganda. Because now, so you cannot blame somebody who is watching his house. He's doing what is good for his country. Now, if he came and tried to impose American systems here. But you see, we still get into money for it. I'll give you an example. The USAID thing, which people people lost their jobs and so on. But I went and I was talking to somebody who went to qualify the grants, how much money America was giving us. And he told me, he's an ambassador from here. They called him to Washington and they asked him how many programs sponsored by USAID are actually saving lives. Prove, not talk. Prove, show us that if you remove money here, people are going to die. He gave them a list. They told him prove. He proved. They left that money. They did not touch it. But these things, money capacity building, what those ones he removed because they said, how does that benefit? Now he said, so they said we are humane. Show us that if you remove AIDS money, people are going to die. So he showed. They said we are not touching that. There are organizations here, I can mention some of them, which are actually involved in tuberculosis, HIV, and what. Their money wasn't touched because the ambassador went there and proved to the Americans that we need this money to save people's lives. And they said we will not touch it. But now there are so many others. Those money for homosexuality, what those ones they cancelled all of it. Yeah. These ones for money behavior change. Money behavior change, what those ones they took all of it.
I'm always very passionate about economic issues, but I don't want to take that conversation to that side because we might not. But the last one, you a pastor, and I want to end on that note. So are you still pastoring?
Yes.
How do you? Because now when you're a pastor for everybody.
Yes.
And when you take political sides, isn't that alienating to some of your congregants?
Well, if they argue with my political sides, they are free to. In church there is freedom of entry and exit. So nobody is forced into a church. It's not like a country. In a country, you're a Ugandan, you had no say in you being a Ugandan. However, if you're a member of my church, there are so many others.
You can go if you don't. So do you mean, if I am to take that, do you mean to say that actually most of your congregants are actually believers in your political message?
Yes. If they were not, they would be free to leave.
I don't want to go beyond this. Thank you very much, Mr. Kabuleeta, for agreeing to speak to us, and for all the things we've talked about. I hope Ugandans look at you with how do they say that in English? So that when they are thinking, they look for you and take for you.
They will eventually.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Kabuleeta.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.